My name is Mohammed Salam. I'm the director of the Pan-African Center here at Augsburg, and I've been here for 11 years, and I'm also the advisor to the Pan-African Student Union. The word Pan-African is an umbrella term that covers all of African, all identities of African descent, and so the way in which it sort of manifests here at Augsburg is that we encourage our students of African descent, whether they be multi-generational African American, whether they be their families are new arrivals from continental Africa. We have a number of students who identify as Afro-Caribbean, and so the Pan-African kind of label or umbrella term is a term that we use that helps us understand the broad range of experiences that students have. It's obviously more broadly tied to an intellectual and political movement that is quite old, but in the case of Augsburg and in the way in which we use it to describe the experience of students, it's a term that helps us kind of encourage and connect all students of African descent.
We just had a panel on what is Pan-African identity. That's a conversation that I feel like does not happen often enough, but due to the systemic, institutionalized, and intentional divisive natures of how Black people built this country and who Black people are, it's meant to be that way. It shouldn't be that way, but it's constructed to be that way. And I think Pasu intentionally holds events. It's fun to kick it and to have a good time and to have dances, and a part of our culture and who we are is we love to laugh, dance, eat food together, the way we communicate, the humor we share, but it's also important for us to learn. And I think if I were to think of some main events that I think signify who we are, that are not our dance and our celebratory events. Last Thursday we wrote holiday cards to incarcerated youth, which I thought was very powerful, and it was a time for us to get back to our community. That's one. We always have an open mic. We have 2 a semester, one during Black History Month, and then we had one in November. And that's just a time to celebrate Blackness, Black art, and just artists in general. Because I think Black people, I know Black people have been fundamental to the contribution of pop culture, music, history, theater, every type of art you could think of. It's predominantly fundamentally Black. So I think Pasu does an amazing job on highlighting multifaceted Blackness through our events.
Last year, I was a first year on campus, and I felt an urge to be more involved with various communities, not just communities of people who look like me. And so I thought, what would be the best avenue to pursue that and to feel a sense of self-fulfillment? And I got an offer to be on Pasu during the summer. I had a couple of friends on the board, and they thought I would be a good fit, and I was kind of nervous, but I really do get that sense of self-fulfillment. I'm
a senior this year at Augsburg University. When I first joined Pasu, we were Augsburg College, which was my freshman year, and I'm president this year. So I actually come from a predominantly white town. I'm biracial. I'm from Duluth, and I've always been extremely hungry and curious about my Black identity. I did not have the opportunity, growing up to openly embrace who I am. One of the last lynchings that actually happened in America happened in Duluth, Minnesota. I'm one of the first scholarship recipients of this fund. It's the Clayton Jackson McGee Memorial. So growing up in that environment was extremely hostile towards my Black identity. So Augsburg itself became something that I viewed as a fundamental tool for me to use to express my Blackness, something that was new to me, and they had the Pan-African Student Union. So it just seemed natural for me to join, and that would be my first place where I would start to cultivate who I am today. So I think Pasu, for me and for many other students, especially people of color who do not grow up surrounded by fellow POC stands for people of color, Pasu is a safe haven and a community for them to express their Blackness freely without judgment and to receive encouragement in that exploration.
When growing up in Togo, with friends and stuff, we viewed America in this light, right? So we always saw it as, well, I'm gonna move to the States one day and make all this money and be this great guy and do all these things. What we failed to recognize was our blackness and the way it's like, constructed in America. So when I was moving here, I was really excited. I had all this passion with me. I was just like, yep, I'm gonna come here and do all these great things. I'm gonna be a great leader. I'm gonna do this, business, this and that. The American dream, quote unquote. So then I got here, then I had to, I was humbled really quickly by the system because on one end, I was African, and then you gotta split that and go to the spectrum of my blackness. I was never black enough, or I was too black. So it was like a struggle finding, okay, who do I connect to more? The African friends that I had that were born and raised in Africa and also moved here, that had a different experience than African Americans here, or do I connect more with African Americans here because now I'm part of this part of America, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Pasu, the Pan-African Student Union, is similar in the sense that, like all student organizations, it's open to any enrolled Augsburg student, and so undergraduate, adult undergraduate, graduate student, anyone who is enrolled at the college is eligible to participate and be involved and take various roles within the student organization. At the same time, it is an organization that, in its mission, is available and support and provides kind of community for students of African descent. So it differs in the sense that the primary focus of the student organization is to bring together students from across these various experiences in a supportive atmosphere to provide opportunities to build community within and across the communities of African descent that are represented at the college. And in that way it's different because of the focus on the experiences of students of African descent.
Since we are like one of the oldest student orgs, it's our 50th anniversary this year, Pasu does a lot of educating of like the Augsburg community. So whether that's Black History Month, where we have an event every single Thursday, or whether that's African Week, where we have an event Monday through Friday, or whether that's us meeting, bi-weekly. We are one of the main student orgs that encourages people of all different races, walks of life, to come and kick it, learn, and cultivate relationships, because the Black community is so diverse, and I think it's important for us to be well-rounded citizens and human beings. So I think Pasu fosters a space for all Augsburg students to become who they're meant to be and fulfill their role of being leaders of the world, which is Augsburg's statement.
Because typically Black Americans rank the lowest in many of the very crucial demographics when it comes to education. So to be a Black person and to be in college is already an achievement. And so when people kind of see it as like, all right, you did it, you're good, now you just got to finish it. But that's easier said than done. Being in college is easier said than done in itself. So Pasu is kind of a support system or a net in case you fall. You have people who can say, I'm here for you, and you know that they genuinely mean it because they don't have to be there. Their whole reason for being there is to help support people like you, so you feel comfortable in the space and you know that you have a support system, you know that you can make mistakes and it won't deeply impact your experience here because you have people who are here to say, all right, you made a mistake, but we can move past this, and here's how we suggest that you move past this.
And then what do you see for Pasu in the future?
It's a good question. With the freshman class that just entered Augsburg, it ended up being 54% minority students, which is amazing. Don't 100% quote me, but I know it was over half. So I see Pasu growing, and I see Pasu continuing on the path it's on, but also becoming something that is a space for revolution, continuing education, Black excellence, and just support. So I see Pasu doing what it does now in the future, but just amplified, especially with Black visibility and Black excellence being highlighted more often now.